If you like this video, give a thumbs up and make sure to hit subscribe at the end.
Okay, so let's start this video with a bit of root cutting. Now, this customer has been having ongoing problems with their drains constantly blocking. I've done a survey here previously and identified a lot of roots and limescale in the pipework. So let's see if we can get it out for them. So the first thing I'm going to do before I do anything is connect the tap up so we can fill the header tank up in the van. So we're going to be using the Warthog today, which is a spinning jet, which is also a very good root cutter and descaler. So this is the manhole we're going to be working from, so let's get the cover off and we can get the camera down there and see what we got going on. Okay, so we've done a quote for some lining work here. You'll see that it definitely needs it, but we're just going to do the root cutting. So straight away we've got a displaced joint and we've got this build up of scale in the bottom of the pipe work. Now, as we go through, you'll notice lots of cracks, loads of weird little defects, and a lot of displaced joints, as well as some roots. Now, today we're just going to be cutting out the roots. We're then going to put the camera through at the end, see the condition of the pipe, and then we can quote for doing lining and anything else it needs. Okay, so on the right hand side we have a junction and then there's another one on the left hand side. Now, I wasn't actually able to identify where these are coming from. I'm suspecting they're redundant, but I wouldn't want to say 100%. So we've got a horrible looking joint at this end, we've got some scale build up as well as some roots growing in, so hopefully we can get that flowing a bit better. Now, as we camera down from here, we've got lots more roots growing into the pipe. Now we're going in the direction towards their treatment plant. So there's then another joint again with more roots growing in. Now, this has been blocking up every couple of weeks, and you can tell the state of this, the paper and everything else has been coming down and just scagging on everything and blocking the drain up. Okay, so this is probably the worst bit of roots in this drain. They were probably worse than that, but the amount of times I've jetted it recently, that's probably cut through that. We've then got a bit of a funny joint where it then becomes plastic as we go down towards the tank. There's then a patch that holds a bit of water on the left hand bend. And then once we get around that bend, it then drops straight into the tank with the T-pipe. So let's get the Warthog in, get it pressured up and see what we can do about these roots. So we're going to do the usual thing and we're going to start at 2000 psi. Now the water's all ran away because the jet is now in the T-pipe at the tank end. So I'm now just going to do a nice slow pass with the jet and hose, pulling it back to the manhole before switching the jetter off and seeing what we've got going on. Now, I know about the state of the jet and hose. I've had one on order for absolutely ages. I'm just waiting for it to show up. Right, let's get the jet and hose out and we'll see what we've got. Now you can already see in the bottom where it's broken up a lot of the lime scales, so that's a good sign. Now, I wasn't expecting this to be absolutely perfect, so don't expect it to be perfect, but we should see a lot of that scale has been hit off and hopefully some of the roots. Now, that bit of green at the start was really annoying me doing this job because it was just hanging around for ages and I just couldn't get rid of it. So as you can see, it's looking a little bit smoother. I'm not quite sure what that is there above them, but we'll have a look again at the end once it's all clean. So we'll just camera down to the tank and see if we're looking any better whilst I wait for the water just to top up a little bit more in the tank. Now you're probably going to wonder what's happening to all the loose scale on the roots. Now that's just going to end up in the tank, it's settled at the bottom. Now the tank's due and empty in about a month's time anyway, so it's not going to cause any issues because when our tanker comes it'll suck all that out and they can start fresh with their nice clean drains. So let's get the Warthog back in and we'll give it another blast. So let's get the jetter back on, and this time we're going to go 3000 psi. So this time I'm going to let the jet crawl through as slow as possible, and then we'll have another look and see what's going on. So when you're jetting, in particular descaling and root cutting, the trick is the slower you can let the jet crawl through the pipe, then the more time your jets are going to cover where the issue is. So it just gives them plenty of time to work on all the issues, and hopefully it'll do a better job than rushing through it and having to do about 20 passes on the line. Now, obviously, the only drawback to doing it this way is you do use a lot of water doing it, and you tend to find you run out of water an awful lot. But at the end of the day, you're doing a better job of it, so sometimes it's worth the wait for the water. And again, we're getting closer to that tank end, and as you can see, the water starts to run away. So I'm now going to pull the jet and hose back. Now you can tell by the colour of the water that this jet's definitely doing something, so it's definitely a dirty colour. And annoyingly, that bit of green stuff is still hanging around in the manhole. So I'm just going to let the jet go back down towards the tank, and then we'll switch it off and get our camera back in there. So again, whilst we wait for the tank to fill back up, let's get the camera back in and we'll see what we got this time. So as you're going to tell, going through slowly has obviously done a lot better job. There's still quite a bit of work to do here, but we're starting to look a lot better. So we're looking a lot better, and for some reason I don't camera all the way to the end of this pipe, but we're going to do another pass anyway, so we'll have a look at that bit in a second. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is try the smaller spinner. Now, I'm just thinking this might hit a few spots that the Warthog's missing, so it doesn't harm to try a couple of different jets when you're doing these kind of jobs. Generally, the Warthog's the better jet for it, but sometimes there's a couple of things it misses where this spinner hits the right spots, so we'll give this one a go. Okay, so I'm going to run this jet at about 2,500 psi. So, out of every jet I've ever used doing drainage, this is the best one for sound. So exactly the same as I was doing the Warthog, I'm going to let this go down the drain nice and slowly, and then I'll pull it back, and then we'll take it out and put the camera down again. So the jet's just going down to the tank end again, so you're going to see all that water run away, just like that. So we know the jet is now at the tank. And to be honest, it's probably in the tank because it's still going. And then I ran out of water, so now is a good time to stop and put the camera back in once again. So we're going to push the camera down through, and you can still see there's still a bit of that scale there. As we camera down, you'll notice there's still bits of root there as well. So what I think I'm going to do is take the spinner off, and we'll do another pass with the Warthog. We'll go for a bit more pressure, and we'll see what that does. There's also a couple of cracks on that junction as well. Now, I didn't really notice those before because the pipe was so dirty. And I'm also wondering what that is there still. So when we get back to the office, I'm going to look over it on the bigger screen and see if I can work it out. But it's possibly some kind of repair or something that's been put in the ground that's gone down through the drainage. I'd like to know your thoughts on that one, what you think that is. So you'll see that the roots are a lot less intrusive now. You can probably see the cracks and also the joints that they've been growing in through. So like I said earlier on in the video, we're going to quote for those to put some patch liners in to stop them growing back in. So this one was a particularly bad bit of roots. As you can see, that's cracked all the way around that joint. And then we come down into the plastic pipe here. And then down on into the tank. So let's get the Warthog back on the end of the jet and hose, and then we'll give it another pass, and hopefully that'll be us done. So I'm just going to screw it on the end, we'll chuck it in, and then we'll go put the jet on. So once again, let's go for 3000 psi. Okay, so let's switch the jetter off and we'll give the camera another pass, and hopefully this time we've got it. So I'm now going to take the Warthog off the end of the hose, and I'm just going to blow a load of water down the line just to flush through any loose stuff that's still sat there before we camera it. Okay, so we're just going to push the camera down one more time. So as you can see, we've got that horrible displacement at the start where the plastic manhole joins the clay, and you can see a nice crack running straight down the middle at the top. So as we carry on down the pipe, you can probably see the clay's slightly blistered here as well, which isn't too much of an issue. It's not causing any obstruction, there's no sharp edges there. And then we've got a crack that goes all the way around at this point. Then we've then got a bit of a displacement on this joint, which has got quite a lip on it, so that could be catching some things still, so we'll recommend a couple of patches, but I'll take this back to the office and we'll see what they say. So as we carry on down, you might be able to make out a thin crack there on the left hand side. Then we've got where the junction is here, there's a crack on either side of the pipe. Again, I don't know what that junction is on the right hand side or what the next one is coming up at the left. I've tried running water down everything. I've seen no signs of it at all. So we then come down to this bit. This is the bit I'm still unsure what that is that's coming through that joint. So it could be something they've pushed down in, or I'm not sure, to be honest. We'll have a look on bigger picture and see if we can make it out a bit better. We've then got another crack here on this joint running across the top, and looking at it now, there's possibly a thin one across the bottom as well. We've then got a bit of a displaced joint here. Again, there's another crack running from left to right across the top of the pipe on this joint, and possibly a little bit displaced as well. Yeah, there's a bit of a step. Now there's a last little bit of root there that I couldn't quite cut off, and crack on this joint. It's also ever so slightly displaced as well, so we'll recommend a patch on that one, stop that root coming back in for sure. Again, there's possibly another crack on that one running all the way around. We've then got another little bit of root that's being stubborn and didn't want to come off on that joint. So we've definitely got the worst of it out. It's 100% better than what it was. So it's definitely an improvement. Hopefully it'll stop it brocking until we get these patches done. This is where the roots are particularly bad. You can see that crack running all the way around the pipe, just on that joint. And then we then come down and then meet this section of plastic that's been put in when the tank was installed. We've then got the dip of water down here. I don't really know what we can do with that, to be honest, without relaying it. and then turns left and into the tank. Okay, so we'll get that survey back to the office and we'll write some kind of report up for them. So I'm going to put the covers down and wrap up my jetting hoses. So I then went and chatted to the customer and ended up with about 20 minutes of footage of the back of the van. So I've sped it up and I thought now would be a good time to say, if you would like to leave a comment, please leave a comment. I try and reply back to them. If you haven't already, please leave a like. It really helps me out. If you haven't already as well, please subscribe. I'm trying to get this channel as big as possible, so every single one of you counts. On top of that, if you want to become a member, not forcing you to, but if you want to, the option is there. At the moment, I've got 3 videos up that you can see that haven't been officially released yet. So if you want to check those out early, become a channel member and you'll be able to get early access to those. Okay, so thanks for watching the video. Please leave a like. If you haven't already, please leave a comment as well. I like to reply back to them. And also, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Thanks again for joining me on this video. This was my day done, so I'm now going to head home. But yeah, come back next time and we'll see what else we're up to. Thank you.
Please like and subscribe and leave a comment.